Welcome to NTN Nightly. I am Janelle Norvell. This edition's top stories. The Prime Minister announces St. Lucia's election date. Initial impact assessments post-Hurricane Elsa reveal devastation to 80% of banana fields. And the local entrepreneur is capitalizing on the village tourism initiative in a delicious way. St. Lucia's general election date has been announced. Prime Minister of St. Lucia, the Honorable Alan Chasney, made the revelation on Monday, 5th July 2021, during an address to the nation. The Prime Minister explained that in keeping with the Constitution of St. Lucia, he on Monday advised Governor General, His Excellency Sir Emmanuel Neville Snack, to dissolve the Parliament of St. Lucia and issue the writs of election. Honorable Chasney noted that there were three important considerations that influenced the election date.
Firstly, we're very close to the resolution of the impacts matter after years of negotiations with the United States government. And it was critical for me as your Prime Minister to resolve this critical and long-standing issue which has so negatively affected our police force and our entire country for so many years. Secondly, looking at the fallout in other Caribbean islands which held elections during COVID, I was deeply concerned about a possible massive outbreak which could overwhelm our healthcare system. I've been working for many months trying to source additional doses of the vaccine so we could have a larger percentage of our population vaccinated before the election. We continue to work with CARICOM to try to obtain the necessary quantity to protect our people.
The Prime Minister also explained that he was very concerned about the many disruptions to regular schooling, which students have had to endure over the past 18 months, having only recently settled back into a normal school routine. Noting that many schools serve as polling stations, he considered that the time required to have classrooms prepared for an election, sanitized and reorganized thereafter, would have resulted in a disruption of about a week, something which Honorable Chasney explained that he wanted to avoid, ensuring that classes were over before elections. Highlighting that the country is still amidst the COVID-19 pandemic, the Prime Minister urged everyone to continue adhering to the protocols.
As we head into elections, I wish to advise you all that both political parties have agreed to abide by protocols established by the Chief Medical Officer and the Police Commissioner with a view to keeping us all safe and healthy. I implore all of you to follow these. I close tonight by announcing that the general elections will be held on July 26, 2021, and that the nomination day will be July 16th, 2021. During the campaign, let us treat each other with respect and kindness. I urge all of you to stay safe, to stay strong, and to stay united.
Once again, St. Lucia's next general election will be held on the 26th of July 2021, while nomination day will be held on the 16th of July 2021. Meanwhile, despite a reduction in COVID-19 cases on island, health officials remain concerned that the introduction of COVID-19 variants may prompt a more difficult to manage surge in cases. Jesse Leos reports on the surveillance of the Ministry of Health and Wellness in this regard and increased efforts at vaccinating more of the population.
The Department of Health indicates that in the 7-day period 29th June to 5th July 2021, St. Lucia registered a daily COVID-19 infection rate of 2.2 per 100,000 of the population. This confirms a reduction compared to the period 22nd to 28th June 2021, during which a daily infection rate of 4.9 per 100,000 of the population was registered. Despite this reduction in the local infection rate, officials remain concerned about the introduction of more resilient strains of the virus to the island. In addition to the original virus, St. Lucia has been subject to 41 cases of the Alpha variant, commonly referred to as the UK variant. This variant is 24 to 70% more transmissible than the original. While still at bay, other variants including the Beta or South African variant, the Gamma or Brazilian variant, and the Delta or Indian variant are too close for comfort. During a live update on NTN Tuesday, 6th July, National Epidemiologist Dr. Michelle Fossois says they continue to monitor regional trends to avoid variants that are likely to undermine the ability of the country to control the pandemic.
We are cognizant of the fact that we may experience a larger outbreak. The different variants have been proven to be more transmissible, and so we are very wary that we have neighboring countries with the different variants, and so although our numbers have gone down, we are still monitoring what is happening on the ground in order to avoid an overwhelming surge of cases on our public health system.
Currently, 10 cases of the Beta or South African variant have been registered in the region. It is 20 to 30% more transmissible than the original and has been shown to decrease the virus's susceptibility to antibodies and thus vaccine efficacy. Vaccines are only 50 to 60% effective at preventing mild to moderate disease. And meantime, 14 cases of the Gamma or Brazilian variant have been registered in the Caribbean. It is 29 to 48% more transmissible than the original. However, vaccines are still effective in reducing its transmission. The Delta or Indian variant is causing the most alarm globally, as its level of infectivity is highest among the strains. To date, there are 8 cases in the Caribbean. Chief Medical Officer Dr. Sharon Belmont-George explains that the Indian variant is not likely to be a problem for a vaccinated population as compared to others.
And this is the one which is most feared at this point because its a level of infectivity is the highest as compared to all of the others. It's over 55% more transmissible than the Alpha variant, which we noted here in January and February. It causes more severe disease, hospitalization, and deaths in the countries. But the good news is that the AstraZeneca vaccine is very effective against the Delta variant after taking your 2 doses. So the variant which we have the most concern for introduction in terms of the effectivity of our vaccine is the South African variant.
In addition to the mobile pop-up sites, visits to the homebound and the regular vaccination sites, partnerships with the private sector are now being forged for new vaccination locations. Immunization Manager Tekla Jean-Baptiste welcomes this development.
We have also added one other component. Last week, a public-private partnership initiative was launched. The People's Discount Pharmacy has partnered with the Ministry of Health offering COVID-19 vaccines. This is the first of this kind in St. Lucia, where persons can access vaccines at their local pharmacy. We hope that we could extend this sort of service to other health providers in the near future.
As of news time, 30,902 individuals in St. Lucia have received their first dose of the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine, and 22,019 have received their second. For the Government Information Service, I am Jessie Leonce reporting.
Initial impact assessments post-Hurricane Elsa for the banana crop on the island revealed devastation to 80% of fields. It is expected to take farmers at least 8 months to begin yielding as usual again. Government officials have swiftly begun planning and securing finances to recover the impacted cash crop and the agricultural sector overall as soon as possible. Jessie Leos tells us more.
The government of St. Lucia has begun to reprioritize allocations toward the agriculture sector in wake of Hurricane Elsa's passage. According to Portfolio Minister Honorable Ezekiel Joseph, the preliminary assessments for the sector overall value damages and losses at over $30 million. The hardest hit was the banana crop. The initial reports reveal that 75 to 80% of the island's banana fields, covering 1,814 acres, were negatively impacted.
The preliminary figure that we're looking at is over $36 million, and that's preliminary. Because we had to do a rapid response assessment come Saturday morning to Saturday afternoon, so at least we could have given the Honourable Prime Minister some indication as to the impact. We are meeting tomorrow, that's the ministry, meeting tomorrow with all the heads, because following that assessment. We went back on the ground to do a more comprehensive analysis as to the impact. The sector that was hardly hit is agriculture. The banana industry, our plantain farmers, the livestock industry is also hit, and a lot of farmers lost their pen. Our greenhouse farmers then got severely damaged. Our fisher folks also, some of them got impacted negatively.
Based on demand for bananas, officials anticipate disappointment in the market as there was a recent request for increased exports. Financing to the tune of $4.5 million has already been identified to get the agriculture industry back on its feet post-Elsa.
There is a demand for the bananas. Now with that hurricane, I'm sure there'll be a lot of disappointments, both locally and of course at the UK level, because the mere fact that there were an interest in wanting to see an increase in our weekly export. And now with almost 85% of the sector being badly damaged, it will take some time for us to recover. So it's for us now to see how we can engage these individuals, to hear from them what will be their position as far as their intention moving forward. But it's going to definitely affect our farmers, and that's why I believe there's need for us as quickly as possible, since we had that $4.5 million for the banana industry already in place. It's for us to see how we can reprioritize what we are going to do and what our support that we're going to do. But in the coming week, during the coming week, we will be able to articulate in a more positive way the areas that we will be supporting our farmers, not only about banana farmers, but agricultural farmers generally.
Given the extent of the damage to the banana crop on the island, export to the international market is not expected to recommence until February or March 2022. Meantime, an extensive chopping program is scheduled to begin as soon as possible. For the Government Information Service, I am Jessie Leonce reporting.
The education sector was also affected by the passage of Hurricane Elsa, which battered St. Lucia on Friday, 2nd July 2021. Chief Education Officer Dr. Fiona Philip-Meyer on Tuesday indicated that a number of damage assessments have been conducted in an effort to manage the conditions at education institutions across the island and restore conducive learning environments. The Chief Education Officer explained that the majority of the damage was incurred at schools in the south and at the Bocage Secondary School in District 3.
We have a few of our schools, particularly in the Suffer area, where water was impacted. So as of today, that school had to remain closed. In District 7, we have 4 primary schools that suffered a lot of water damage and debris, so it had to be cleaned up. But what we looked at were individual schools and what their needs were. For the most part, all of the cleanup happened on the weekend, so our students were able to come in. And for example, at the Viewfort Primary School, we had part of the roofing of one of the buildings being lifted. So we've cordoned off that area.
Dr. Philip-Meyer said that the Department of Education is currently working with relevant entities to repair the infrastructural damage caused by Hurricane Elsa.
So it's really working with our building people, our technical officers on the ground, our health and safety officer, our education officers, to make sure that we can offer, up until the 9th of July, a safe environment for everybody, our students and our staff.
Schools island-wide are actively preparing for the closure of the 3rd term of this academic year on July 9, 2021. The Chief Education Officer informed parents that they will be informed when a definitive date has been decided upon for the release of the Common Entrance Examination results. A local entrepreneur is capitalizing on the village tourism initiative being undertaken by the government of St. Lucia. Having recently opened the doors of Kako Settly Sea, the business is seeking to take full advantage of the expected increased number of visitors to the village. The newly opened venture, once in operation, will provide many benefits to the community, including the anticipated employment of some 25 individuals. Hamadi Mark has details in this report.
It was a momentous occasion on Thursday, July 1st, 2021, when Kako Settly Sea officially opened its doors to the public. The artisanal chocolate factory located at Belvedere Canneries handcrafts its chocolate nib, bar and truffle to create an inimitable cocoa experience for its patrons. Maria Jackson, operations manager and owner of Kako Setlisi, has a background in confectionery as a pastry chef. She envisions Kako Setlisi will amplify the village's tourism product.
We offer 4 experiences. They start from a bean to bar orientation tour, and that basically is just a familiarization of the nature of how our chocolate is made, understanding the quality of the product from inception of harvesting to the final packaging and wrapping of the chocolate. A lot of attention is placed into that. So we want our guests to get that sort of understanding of that chocolate process. The other experience we offer is workshops. So the workshop basically is an in-depth, giving our customers or clients an in-depth understanding of how the chocolate is made and actually getting an opportunity to make it themselves.
Established in 2015, Kako Setlisi went from a cottage industry operation to occupying a 200 square foot building consisting of a production wing, retail area, workshop space, and restaurant. When in full operation, the company hopes to employ 25 individuals from the community, contributing to its economic development. Kako Setlisi also aspires to become one of St. Lucia's leading export brands. Export St. Lucia Chief Executive Officer, CEO Sunita Daniel, says Export St. Lucia is working with the business to assist it in realizing that dream.
We've been with Kako Setlisi from the very beginning because we've recognized the potential of the product to really go into the export markets and the international markets. So we've actually assisted them with packaging and branding. And we've done some market research. We've actually taken them on a mission with us to the UK to look at what the market is like. And I can tell you that the market for chocolates is in the billions of US dollars now. And so we are actually not making full use of the market out there. And so we're very happy that an authentic, a small company like Kako Setlisi could actually make that move. And so we're here to support them and to ensure that they get into the international markets.
Minister for Tourism, Information and Broadcasting, Culture and Creative Industries, and Parliamentary Representative for Ancillary Canneries, Honorable Dominic Fady, says the opening of Kako Setlisi creates opportunity for the revitalization of the cocoa industry in the community of canneries.
Their success is going to help all of our success. It's going to help the cocoa farmers in Soufrière. It's going to help the cocoa farmers in Micoud South and cocoa farmers all over St. Lucia. And I am just so inspired, and I'm sure that so many of you are inspired by this. The Ministry of Tourism is very proud of the small part that we have played in making sure that the concessions available for this facility was approved by the Cabinet. So thank you, the Chairman of our Cabinet, Mr. Prime Minister, for your support in making sure that this small business enjoys the same tax breaks that many large companies in St. Lucia do enjoy.
The community of Canneries has been the home of an icicle and keyring factory, both of which were foreign-owned. The opening of locally owned and operated Kako Setlisi places significant focus on the empowerment of young women in the community. From the Government Information Service, I am Hilma DeMark reporting.
This is NTN Nightly. Up next, Primus Hutchinson with the NTN Nouvelle Creole.
COVID-19 is a new pandemic disease as declared by the World Health Organization. It is transmitted directly by respiratory droplets when an infected person coughs or sneezes, or indirectly through rubbing the face with contaminated hands. There is still no specific treatment or vaccine against COVID-19, and as such, the farming community should adhere to some special recommendations. Ensure that farm clothing and gear is clean. Wash hands thoroughly before harvesting crops. Use face masks and head ties whilst harvesting, cleaning, and packaging crops. Use all safety precautions when transporting crops to the markets and depots, such as handling crates and crops with only clean hands and covering sneezes and coughs with a tissue or the inner arm to ensure body fluids or droplets don't get on produce, and washing hands or using hand sanitizer after using the tissue. More than ever before, your important role as gatekeepers of St. Lucia's nutritional, health and food security should be taken seriously. When you exercise these precautions, you not only safeguard your health, but also continue to allow all St. Lucians access to freshly grown fruits, vegetables and other local crops. Remember, it is our responsibility to ensure our nation eats fresh, St. Lucia's best.
Welcome back. We join Primus Hutchinson for the NTN Nouvelle à Créole.
Monsieur autant, Chanel. Monsieur, Madame, département qui a responsabilité pour information en gouvernement cette-ci, c'est GIS, assume puis télévision nationale, puis NTN, qui présente Nouvelle en Créole, présente Primus Hutchinson. Premier ministre cette-ci, honorable Alan Chasney, annoncé date élection pour l'année ici. Il voyait une adresse pour la nation, lundi, le 4e jour en mois de juillet 2021, après le Premier ministre Chasney réfléchit, mais moi, la nation, concernant ces démarches que le gouvernement Japon pour chaîne économie pays vivant. Et annoncé qui, élection pour l'année là, c'est le 26 juillet 2021, avec jour de nomination, qui est le 16 juillet 2021. Le Premier ministre a parlé de ces diverses initiatives que le gouvernement a commencé à payer. Par exemple, assistance pour aider plusieurs qui trouvaient affectés par la maladie corona, principalement travailleurs dans le secteur touristique qui trouvaient affectés sérieusement. Avec l'autre business, le Premier ministre Chasney fait nation comprendre les marches qui sont en place pour assurer un service de santé qui est available pour tous ces lycéens et un service d'éducation qui est égal pour tout étudiant. En direction agricole, il mentionnait le programme 7 denrées que les farmers, ça veut dire les cultivateurs, qui a produit pour vendre ni en pays même et en région Caraïbe. Le programme ça a marché très bien. Et que remercier le magasin Marcy pour faciliter le programme agricole. Le Premier ministre a fait référence aux situations d'aide pays qui est assez stable présentement, particulièrement comme projet de construction qui a marché en façon qui est bien confortable pour l'économie pays là. Le Premier ministre Chasney parlait du progrès qui a fait en construction nouveau pour l'école en pays cette-ci, établissement d'équerre, chemin et projet pour continuer à renforcer la résilience contre cyclone. Il a aussi fait référence pour faciliter en façade sous pays qui a employé plusieurs cent jeunesse comme Aitel BPO et Ojolab. Pour répéter annoncement Premier ministre cette élection, c'est 26 juillet 2021. Après passage cyclone Elsa en cette samedi le 3e mois de juillet 2021, qui a cause bon coup de dommage, particulièrement dans le secteur agricole et aussi pétail caille. Le Premier ministre cette honorable Alan Chasney, ministre des Affaires Construction et Travaux, honorable Stevenson King, et ministre des Affaires Agriculture, honorable Ezekiel Joseph, qui paraît à la télévision NTN pour informer le pays à ce dommage qui le pays a souffert et qui plan qui est en place pour adresser et encourager le pays cette en bas ces dommages. Le Premier ministre Chasney parlait concernant dommages pour ces cailles résidentiels ici en ville Castries, côté 20 détruits, peut-être 8 ailleurs, pendant l'autre 13 trouvés affectés. Il a aussi parlé de l'école et l'autre cailles diverses, c'est cailles divers individus, un pays qui a aussi trouvé affecté. Le Premier ministre là-bas promet pour plus vite que possible pour adresser assistance finance pour le ministère de l'Éducation, le ministère de l'Égalité et le ministère de l'Agriculture. Il y a aussi séparé et puis toute cette liste qui souffert de date à cyclone Elsa, particulièrement la famille Mouna qui perdit la vie en commune Fort Saint-Jacques-Soufrière. Le Premier ministre Chasney déclare que c'est bonne chance que cette liste a trouvé 60 millions de dollars au Banque mondiale pour bâtir résilience et qui permettent pour supporter les cultivateurs, parce que les femmes aussi pour les pêcheurs qui souffrent de date. Le ministre a annoncé que le pays a souffert perdant à Dawe à peu près 3 ou 4 millions de dollars. Honorable Stevenson King dit que le ministère a commencé au travail à ce manœuvre nouveau pour bâtir chemin qui n'est plus résistance pour le climat et qualité chemin qui n'est pas pour dire pour à peu près 15 ou 20 années. Honorable King dit que parmi ces plusieurs travaux que j'ai fait, c'est pont en cul-de-sac qui a bien avancé côté la rivière et Godlo, qui ça naviguer à bail facilement et aussi protection côté Godlo pas qu'il ça dépassé cette terrasse la rivière ça là qui a bas pour neuf là les fini. En parlant de ça, ministre des Affaires agricoles et la pêche, honorable Ezekiel Joseph, a conseillé pour les farmers planter plus gros pieds bois pour barrer force vent de un cyclone. Le ministre agricole a fait comprendre que l'argent des farmers qui déjà établi le système ça là, mais là, il brise encore plus comme ça à l'habitation agricole à cette ci. Le ministre agricole a renforcé l'importance des assurances qui est nécessaire pour les cultivateurs et qui dit que le gouvernement a une discussion en façon ça là. Le ministre agricole a parlé des ressources pour assister les farmers payants et qu'il faut qu'il y ait en place pour établir un programme côté 4,5 millions de dollars pour supporter les cultivateurs et bien les farmers pays ici. Honorable Ezekiel Joseph fait promettre que le gouvernement, en budget du Premier ministre Honorable Alain Chastanet, et lui, comme ministre des Affaires agricoles, qu'il baille les farmers tout support qui est possible.
Nous avons fait avant, ce n'est pas la première fois que nous avons fait, nous faisons le tropical storm côte passé, nous avons support pour les farmers et puis tous les gens qui sont involvés dans les affaires agricoles. Encore, au soir où l'honorable Prime Minister dit, c'est attention au gouvernement, c'est attention pour les support, mais c'est responsabilité du ministre agricole pour faire un programme à ce qui manière nous croyons le gouvernement ça supporter. Si nous avons fait tout ça, nous avons fait ça demain, comme ministre, nous avons joindre demain pour discuter qui manière nous croyons assister au secteur. Mais nous vous comprenons que là, nous avons expérimenté tropical storm côte, situation financière au pays a pas été actuellement. Nous just sorti from COVID et puis les affaires resources c'est limited. So moi assuré that Premier ministre là, Alan Chastanet, qui basé sur discussion nous avons demain, nous avons ça venir puis un package qui ça va support pour tout le monde en secteur. Moi aussi je voulais dire that ces gens qui peuvent Lucia, qui ont un support, of course, you can parler et puis représentative et puis pour ça information ça venir ministre equity, so ministre equity qui a fait représentation pour premier ministre là et puis nous avons ça supporter.
Eh bien, messieurs, mesdames, ça c'était voir le ministre qui a une responsabilité pour l'agriculture et la pêche. C'est ici, honorable Ezekiel Joseph, qui a bout à nouvelle nous aujourd'hui. Je vous remercie autant pour regarder, je vous avoir une invitation pour jouer puis moi encore. Si Dieu conserve la vie, les gens posent une nouvelle. Après, à présent, je vous vivre posé tout.
Merci Appeal Primus. That brings us to the end of NTN Nightly. Join us next time at 7 p.m. with a repeat at 7 a.m. You can also catch up with us anytime on the St. Lucia Government Facebook page or YouTube channel. I am Janelle Norvell.